Hello everyone and welcome to the conclusion of the rapid section of the Grand Chess Tour currently being played in Croatia in Zagreb. This is Gukesh D, World Classical Champion versus Wesley So, and everyone thought Gukesh would not do well in rapid. They said that he was too slow, that he could not play faster time formats, and now, well, he has just shown everyone what's what. He was leading, like I said, for the better part of the tournament, and he is definitely finishing in first place. It all depends on does he want to win here, does he want to draw, because he is going into the Blitz section as a leader. And it was only after, if you've seen how he played the first 6 rounds, he lost his first game to Young Krzysztof Duda, and then he defeated Alireza, he defeated Pregnananda, he defeated Nodrbek, he defeated Caruana, and then he defeated Magnus Carlsen. And it was not until round 7, so the first game of day 3, that finally Anish Giri held him to a draw. I know you guys will laugh at that, but it's true. And then he had this crazy game against Ivan Šarić. They played the martial attack, and well, that game, I'm not going to spoil anything because I'm probably going to show it. I didn't want to show it today because it's already very late here, and I want to be fresh when I show that game, because it's I imagine it will take me maybe 40 minutes to make that video, because there are so many lines and all of them are good. So we'll see, what happens. And that takes us to this game. And the title of the video is basically something that Yasser Serevan said. He's one of the commentators that's commentating the event. Said that was there a blackout in Zagreb, as there's seems to be the only way to explain one of the moves in the game. So yeah, let's check it out. Gukesh with white opens with knight to f3. He goes for the Reti opening, and Wesley goes for pawn to d5. I've seen Wesley a couple of times against the Reti. He sometimes goes for this d5 and the immediate bishop to g4, and he just captures, and that is a perfectly valid way to play. But here he doesn't go for that, because Gukesh switches it up. He goes for the Nimzovich-Larsen attack with pawn to b3, and Wesley goes c5. We have pawn to e3, pawn to a6, and after pawn to c4, pawn to d4. And this is, again, some sort of a Reti position, but a very, very rare one. We have bishop to a3, putting pressure on c5, and queen to b6. And now there is a game where e captures on d4 was played. It was played in 2015 World Rapid Championship, so obviously it's a line that you don't play in classical. Between Andrei Shkekachev and Yevgeny Alekseyev, and white won this game. But here we already have pawn to g3, and it is now, as of move 6, that we have a completely new game. So okay, we have knight to c6, Wesley continues development, bishop to g2, and bishop to g4. Pinning the knight, we have pawn to h3, bishop to h5, and not rushing with the g4. We have castles kingside by Gukesh. You could also consider capturing. It's definitely a possibility before you castle, as now it's going to be a bit of a problem for black to play e6. Or rather, not a problem, but you're just going to have to allow bishop captures on f8. So okay, after bishop to h5, Gukesh decided to castle right away, and now d captures on e3. We have d captures and pawn to e6. So now you can play it, and you don't have to worry about a trade of dark square bishops. Knight to c3, we have bishop to e7, and queen to e2. We have pawn to f5 by Wesley. Hard to say why not knight to f6 right away. Probably he was worried about g6, bishop to g7, and then, whatever, like knight h4, or maybe he was worried about g5. It's hard to say, but he goes pawn to f5 first. So he stops pawn to g4. We have queen to c2. Very, very nicely played, going for that e4 square. So e4 is the idea here. And you could play a lot of things here, but knight to f6, stopping pawn to e4. We have knight to g5, again gaining more control over that e4 square, now defending it, 4 times, and preparing pawn to e4. And Wesley goes knight to d8, as the e6 pawn was also hanging. So now the knight and the queen are defending it. And while you're probably expecting pawn to e4 right away, Gukesh doesn't play it. He goes knight to e2. Now e4 is the best move, but it's a very tricky one. I will show it because I know you guys like, lines. h6, knight f3, and now after f captures on e4 and knight captures, let's say black goes knight to c6, you can capture on f6, and now after bishop captures, you just go rook 8 to e1, as of course your rook is hanging. So rook 8 to e1, as the e6 pawn is still hanging, and now after bishop to f7, you will go queen to f5. And black certainly has some problems here. That e6 pawn is weak. You're also putting pressure on the c5 pawn. The knight can get into the game easily, and just a very powerful position for white. So after knight to d8, we have knight to e2 and pawn to h6. Finally kicking away the knight back to f3, and here is the move that Yasser Serevan described as a blackout in Zagreb. Wesley played queen to c6. He said that it would be very normal to put a knight on c6, but putting a queen on c6 doesn't make all that much sense. And it's as they say, luck favors the strong. And obviously Gukesh is now considered strong by everyone, as it's not that there's some secret line that is winning here. It's that every move is great for white. And Gukesh doesn't even go for the best continuation. He goes for the immediate knight h4, which just opens up an attack on the queen. I'm going to show you g4, and now look at this. F captures, H captures, and you really don't have all that much to play. Knight is coming to e5, or even if you capture, then you still play knight e5, and you put pressure on the bishop and on the queen. And if the queen moves, now you have a nice queen g6 check, and you just win a free piece. So many lines here that are problematic for black. Hard to say what Wesley saw in this one. But knight h4 is what Gukesh went for. We have queen to c7, getting the queen out of harm's way, and the knight to f4. Now again putting pressure on the bishop, and on e6 we have pawn to g5, forcing a trade here. Knight captures on h5, and now g captures on h4. We have bishop back to b2, pinning the knight, and rook to f8. We have knight back to f4. Again, putting pressure on that e6 pawn, rook to g8, putting pressure on the white king. We have g captures on h4. Gukesh even boldly opens up the g file, and we have pawn to e5, kicking away the knight back to e2, and pawn to e4, closing up the light square bishop. And now it could even get dangerous for Gukesh. There's a queen on this diagonal. There's a rook on g8. If Wesley can somehow double up on the g file, could be very problematic. But knight to g3 goes after the f5 pawn, knight to c6, as there's no good way to defend it, and now knight captures on f5. We have castles queenside, so at least Wesley's not getting checkmated in any way. But here comes bishop captures on f6, bishop captures, and rook 8 to d1. Offering a trade of rooks, but there's really nothing for Wesley to do here. His position looks okay, he's just down material. There's no way to compensate for that. We have queen to e5. Now even knight captures on h6. Wesley even allows this to go for some sort of a counterattack, because playing on material is no longer an option. So rook captures on g2. Wesley sacrifices the exchange, king captures, and the rook to h8. Tries to trap the knight now, but rook d5. A nice calm centralizing move by Gukesh. We have queen to e6 and knight to g4. We have bishop captures on h4 and pawn to f3 even. Not much to look for here. E captures on f3, rook captures, now controlling everything along the third rank. We have king to b8, not allowing queen to f5 to come, so forcefully to force a queen trade. So king to b8, but still just queen to f5. We have queen to e7, queen to f7, and now queen to e4. And here, queen to f4 with check was played. Queens were traded, captures, and he was in this position on move 37 that Wesley so resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So beautifully played by Gukesh. 6 wins in this opposition and 3 draws. That is absolute, or rather, he did have 1 loss. So 6 wins and 2 draws with the loss to Young Krzysztof Duda. Absolutely incredible result by Gukesh. Now, I don't know if the other games are still being played. Regardless of how this one went on, Gukesh would be in the lead going into the 4th day or into the rapid section. But we can quickly check. Only Magnus still playing with Anish. They both are around a minute on the clock, and Magnus pushing for a win. but Geary will try to hold. So we'll see how that ends up. So we don't have the exact standings, but you guys will have to account for that. So without the Magnus Geary game finishing, these are the standings. So Gukesh by far the first with 14 points, and he will have a significant lead going into the Blitz section. Even if Magnus wins, he will be on 11 points, same as Jan Krzysztof Duda, and 3 points in 3 points ahead in the Blitz section. That's like going into a tournament where you're it's already as if you won 3 games. So that is an insane lead, and so far every year who won the Rapid also won the entire event. So we'll see if that translates into this year, because Gukesh would really have to lose a lot of games in Blitz in order for that to happen. So we'll see how it goes. And it's okay, maybe hard to look at the standings now because Magnus and Anish are still playing, but for Anish, doesn't matter all that much. For Magnus, he's only playing for fun and for to do some upsets, because he's not part of the tour. He's sort of a wild card here in Zagreb, and he will not be joining them for the rest of the Grand Chess Tour. But that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll cover at least one more game. Like I said, I will cover the Radić versus Gukesh game. That martial attack was absolutely incredible, and then I'll update you with the full standings. So that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Big congratulations to Gukesh on winning the Rapid section. Very much looking forward to the Blitz section. I would like to thank James Sanderson, Guillermo Ismael Garcia Borges, Phil Bauer, Benjamin Heuberger, and Nikola Nenad Stankovic for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.